Pranam Swamiji. We are in the 5th session of Aikyamathya Suktam with Swamiji. A warm welcome to everyone here. As usual, the last half hour will be kept aside for questions with Swamiji. If anyone does have a question, please do indicate on the chat and you can ask the question. We begin our session today with Sri Pradeep Nayathil chanting Aikyamathya Suktam for us. Pradeep.
No. Shataധാരമുക്സ്വമക്ഷീയമാണം വിപശ്ചിതം പിതരം വക്ത്വാനാം മേളിം മദന്തം ഗണപതയേ നമഃ. വം വേദവ്യാസായ നമഃ. Today, let me start with some hymns from the Swasti Suktam, followed by Samvada Suktam. Swasti no mimitam ashvina bhaga, swasti devyatitira narvana, swasti pusha asuro dadhatuna, swasti dyava prithivi suchetuna. स्वस्तये वायुमुपब्रवामहै सोमं स्वस्ति भुवनस्य यस्पति बृहस्पतिं सर्वगणं स्वस्तये स्वस्तय आदित्यासो भवन्तु नः विश्वे देवानो अद्य स्वस्तये वैश्वानरो वसुरग्निः स्वस्तये देवा अवन्त त्रिभवः स्वस्तये स्वस्ति नो रुद्रः पात्वं हस्त मित्रावरुणा स्वस्ति पद्ये रेवति स्वस्ति न इन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च स्वस्ति नो अदिते कृधि स्वनुचरेम सूर्या चन्द्रमसा विवा पुनर्ददताघ्नता जानता संगमे मही समिद्युवसे वृषन्नग्ने विश्वान्यज्ञ आ इलस्पदे समिध्यसे सनो वसून्याभरा संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं वोंसि जानतां देवा भागं यथा पूर्वे संजानाना उपासते समानो मन्त्रः समिदिः समानी समानं मनः सह चित्तमेषाम् समानं मन्त्रमभिमन्त्रयेव समानेन वो हविषा जुहोमि समानीव आगूति समाना हृदयानिव समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वः सुसहासति.
ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. in this satsanga. We are studying Samvada Suktam or Aigamatya Suktam. It's also called Samana Suktam. Here, the Rishi is Angira Samvananaha, Chandas, Anushtup, and Trishtup. And Devata of the Sukta is Agnihi, Agni Samvananaha, Sanjanaha, Agni Sanjanaha, Sanjanaha Agnihi. So far we have seen the first two mantras. In total there are 4 mantras. And we have seen 2 mantras. That is Samsamityuvase Vrishannagne Vishwanyarya A Ilaspade Samidhyase Sano Vasunyabhara Sangachadhvam Sambadadhvam Samvo Manamsi Janatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate. O bestower of everything, O Agni, you are showering all boons on us. You are the controller of all the universe. Aryahatvam. And you are burning with high flames in the Agni Kunda, which is the earth itself. You please bring all wealth and prosperity to us. This is the first mantra. Then second mantra is addressed to all the devatas, or it is addressed to the whole humanity at large. Or we can take it as to mean it is an address keeping in mind all those who are assembled to perform the yaga. So in all these senses we can take the second mantra. And what does it say is, all of you, you walk together, you talk together, you think together. That is, whatever you are doing with your body, words, and the mind, let them be united. Let you have that togetherness in all your activities, that unity in all your activities. And together you walk to an auspicious end. Together you talk about something auspicious. And together you think about what is auspicious. And let your mind be united. And let you know each other. Sambho manamsi janata. Let you know each other. That knowledge will bind you together. That knowledge will make you united. And it will make you talk together and walk together. That is knowing each other, knowing the heart of the other. That is making us bound together. That is the bonding factor. So knowingly you work together, you walk together, you talk together, you think together. Let all our endeavor be united. Let unity prevail everywhere, in all fields of or all walks of life. Let unity prevail. And as our ancestors did, so you also do. You give respected portions or parts to different devatas, knowingly. Or, O devatas, you accept your own respective parts as the devatas of the past accepted. So here what is hindered is the greatness of the tradition. Because how our ancestors did, so you also do. That means let the tradition prevail. And there is another hint there. That is, this tradition is to be based on knowledge. That is sanjanana, those who are with proper knowledge. How those devatas with proper knowledge accepted their own parts or their respective parts in the past. So you also do that. Or how the ancestors offered to different devatas their respective parts. So knowingly you also do, because they did with that knowledge. They did with that knowledge. Sanjanana purve. So you also do that. You follow that. So with proper knowledge you live and you work. Proper knowledge must be the base of all our activities. This is the message given. And when we analyze these two mantras, we will get a wonderful message to the whole humanity. To be united, not to be fractionalized. To be together, to know together, to know each other. That togetherness, that is the base of all united efforts or activities. So there are many more messages, but this is the very base of all our analysis. Now we can go to the third mantra today. Samano mantra samiti samani. Samanam manasah chittamesham. Samanam mandram abhimantra eva. Samanena vo havisha juhomi. Samano mantra samiti samani. Samanam manasah chittamesham. Samanam mandram abhimantra eva. Samanena vo havisha juhomi. Samanaha mantraha sam iti samani samanam manaha saha chittam esham. Samanam mantram abhimantraye vaha samanena vaha havisha juhomi. Samanaha mantraha vaha sam iti. Vaha of you or yours. Of you or yours. Mantraha. Mantraha. Mantraha is mantra. It can be the mantra used in different types of yagas. It can be the mantra chanted in a particular yaga or yajna. It can be a piece of advice. Mantra can be a piece of advice. Mantra can be a decision which is taken by a meeting. That is after discussion and all. Mantra is a secret teaching for saving somebody or to be saved from somebody. Many meanings are there for mantra. Verbal meaning is what saves us, what protects us. When we are contemplating, mananad trayate, mananad trayate. That is what is protecting us when we are contemplating. That is mantra. Or something to be thought of, and that will protect us. So what is to be thought of? For getting protection is a mantra. Yasya mananad trananam. That is mantra. So it's a piece of advice. It can be a decision taken together. For example, when a certain number of ministers, mantris, are sitting together and discussing matters connected with the nation or the kingdom in secret, then it is called mantranam. They are doing mantra vichara. And one who is giving proper advice to the king is a mantri. Listening or observing or fulfilling that advice or that teaching is the way for the king to protect the kingdom and to be protected. So it's a mantra. So here it is said, Vaha mantraha samanaha sam iti. Let your mantra be samanaha. Samanaha. That having the quality of sama. In English also it is sama, same. S-A-M-E, same. This is the origin. Samskrita, it is sama. Sama is same. So let your mantra have the sameness. Let it be similar. When we are trying to get ourselves united, or when unity is the basal mantra for our success, the first thing, essentials, or the first condition is our mantra must be samana. To achieve a certain goal, there will be different ways. All ways are acceptable, but we cannot accept all of them at the same time. If one man is traveling from Bharat to America, he can travel westward or he can travel eastward, flying to eastern side. Of course, he can reach America. There is no doubt. Or he can fly taking the western course. That also will take him to America. But he cannot take both the courses together. Either western way or eastern way he can select, but not both. Of course, he can take both at different occasions, not at the same occasion. So to have a togetherness, to have that united move, what we want is our mantra must be samana. There are different mantras. All are great. We cannot say the piece of advice I have given is the right or correct, all others are wrong. No, we cannot say. The concept of right and wrong itself is wrong. Because right for one man will not be right for another, or for one occasion, one time, one climb. It is different. So we cannot say something as wrong, because wrong of one occasion will be right in another occasion. All these are relative things, right and wrong. But to have a united move, to have that togetherness, our mantra must be the same. There must be similarity. There must be similarity. So it is taught here. Vaha mantraha samanaha. Vaha of yours or your mantra, the piece of advice you are taking or the course you are following or the thoughts you are sharing, let it be samana. Let it be samana. That samanatvam, sameness, similarity must be there. Here we have to reiterate this aspect. There can be different mantras to achieve one given goal, and all mantras may be great. We cannot say this mantra alone is good, all others are bad. No. There are different courses, there are different advices, there are different ways. But at the same time, we cannot follow different mantras. So at a given time, for a given journey, or to achieve something with togetherness, or with that united effort, our mantra must be samana. Always we have to keep this in mind. So samanaha, mantraha, sam iti. That must be great. That mantra must be great. Here sama means something great or all encompassing or harmonious or holistic. So that must be the quality of the mantra you are accepting. Sama. So samano mantra samiti. There we can add vaha. We are not taking vaha from outside. In the same mantra itself, there is repeated usage of vaha. That means you are. So let your mantra be samanaha. Sama. Then sam iti samani. Your thoughts. Let there be samani, having a sameness, similar. And samanam manaha. Your mind, let it be samanam, similar. What is mind? Of course, mind is a function of our internal instrument. Mind, intellect, and so on. But here we have to keep in mind the aggregate of all our thoughts makes our mind. What we are thinking, what is there within, that is making our mind. It is the aggregate of all the vrittis within. So, samanam manaha means let your thoughts, let your vrittis, let your mind be samanam. You think, you keep your mind and think with your mind in the similar way. Same thoughts make a group that is giving identity to that united move. What is making us united? The common thought. What we are sharing, there must be some commonness. That is making the togetherness. So feeling together, feeling for a common object, that feeling within, for example, feeling for the nation, feeling for our society, that makes a united effort. That makes unity within. If that commonness is not there, if that feeling, oneness and feeling is not there, all of us will be fragmented. You will be in one corner and I will be in another corner. There will be no that connection factor. And what is connecting us together? It is our thoughts. It is our mind. That makes a nation. The land, the oceans, the rocks, the mountains, the forest, all these put together won't make a nation. A nation is made by the commonness of thoughts. That makes a group. So our mind, let it be samanam. Samanam. Samanam manaha. Saha chittam. Chittam saha. Saha. Chittam is also another function of the internal instrument. There all the memories are stored. Actually, the thought process comes from the chitta. Mind is doing that thought process. Mind is doing that thought process, but it is coming from the chitta. Because all the samskaras are inscribed there. So in that, there must be commonness. That is not only in your activities, not only in your words, and not only in your thoughts, but on the very base of all this, there must be that commonality. Because chittam is something deep, deeper than the mind. Of course, we are taking chittam along with the mind and ahankaram along with the intellect. That is another aspect. But when we are taking this mind and chittam is something deeper. It is not the outer conscious level. We can call it as something subconscious or even unconscious. Even in that level, there must be sameness. Even in that level, there must be something that connects us. There must be something that binds us together. That must be kept there. Let it be there. See the greatness, the feeling of oneness, or that what makes us united. It must be there, embedded in the very base of our individuality. See? So this is a great advice. Greater than the previous, that is Samanam Manaha. Of course, it is a great advice, Samanam Manaha, but this is still greater. Sahachittam. Even the very base of your thought process, where all the memories are stored, there also let you have that sahabhava, the feeling of togetherness. We are one. We are together. We are similar. That attitude must be embedded in the very individuality of each and every person. So the beauty of the teaching, how great this is. If we are studying this piece of sukta in our high school classes or our upper primary classes, what would have been the position of our nation? You just think. Now what we are getting from the media are philosophies of fragmentalism. No teachings for a united move. So this will make the nation an integral one. This will pave way to protect the integrity. So let us take this teaching to our heart. Let us share this message of Veda to each and every one here. Samanam mantraha, samanam manaha, sahachittam. This teaching, samano mantraha, samanam manaha, sahachittam. This piece of teaching, let us spread. Let us spread around and tell them this is the last message or last sukta of the Rigveda. The first ever words which were heard in the world, that is the Rigveda Samhita. And after uttering more than 10,550 mantras, Rishi is giving this message unto the whole world. You stand up and hear this. We can spread this. This is the very base of integrity. This is the very base of our national unity, or universal unity. So this mantra we can chant aloud. Samanam manaha, samano mantraha, sahachittam. Samano mantra samiti samani, samanam mana sahachittamesham. Samanam mantram abhimantrayeva. Vaha, unto you, unto you. Samanam mantram abhimantraye, abhimantraye. Samanam mantram abhimantraye vaha. Vaha yushmakam, for you people or unto you. Samanam mantram. Sayana says ekavidham mantram. Mantra of the same form, the same teaching, the same ideal, or the same mantra. I am abhimantraye. Abhimantraye. That means I am giving to you, or I am offering to you. I am chanting for you. Abhimantraye. When in a yaga or in a yajna, when it is said, I am abhimantraye, means I am chanting. When we are saying it in connection with a piece of advice given to a king, the meaning will be, I am giving this piece of advice. Abhimantraye tuam. I am teaching you, I am giving this advice to you. When it is said in a group of people, then the meaning will be, I am talking unto you. So according to situation, the meaning will change. So unto you, we are chanting what is having something similar. We are chanting the same mantras. See, mantra comes from the heart. Of course, it is taking form through our mouth, through our tongue, and it is coming out through our lips. That is why the place of chandas is lips. But it is coming from the heart. So when there is sameness in our heart, when our thoughts are same, then what will come out of our tongues? Of course, those having similarities, those having that sameness. So samanam mantram abhimantraye. I am chanting what he says, having similarity with what you are chanting. That sameness is there. This is coming from the heart where that sameness is embedded. Samanam mandram abhimandra eva. Samanena vaha havisha juhomi. Samanena havisha. With samana havi. Havi is material used in yajnas as offering. Different types of havis are there. Different types of havis are there. But havi is something which is offered in a yajna or a yaga with proper mantras. So here, samanena havisha, with samana havi, same havi. I am juhomi. Juhomi means I am worshipping. Actually, juhomi is I am offering to the fire or in the fire. Even though I am offering into the fire, I am keeping in mind different devatas. So I am offering to different devatas. When I am offering some havi in the Agni, uttering the mantra Rudraya Swaha, then I am offering to Rudra. But it is offered in the Agni. And Agni will take that offering to Rudra. So what I am offering is the same as what he is offering. There is sameness, there is similarity in the offering. So all our activities, all our words, all our deeds, and all our thoughts, not even that, the base of thought, even our subconscious, in that level also there is that sameness. So by saying this, Rishis are teaching, let you have this. Let you have this sameness. This is the teaching to the humanity. This is the teaching to the humanity. So samanena havisha juhomi vaha. You people, you devatas. I am offering to different devatas. But there is the samanata, sameness in the havi. See, there will be different materials in the havi. We will not offer the same havi to all the devatas. According to devata, there will be differences, or according to the karma, there are differences. But still that sameness is there. It is there. With the same motive or with the same mantra, with the same sankalpa within. The thought we are keeping within. That is the same. Or the way in which we are offering. That is the same. There will be changes physically. But our concept, that is the same. Our consideration, that is the same. So, samanena havisha vaha juhomi. I am offering this, O devatas. I am offering with the same havi. So, this sameness must be there in all walks of our life. The sameness must be there in all our activities. in the physical level, in the verbal level, and in the mental level. If that is there, we will become together, we will move together, and that unity will prevail. And it is the very, very basal thing to have national or the universal integrity. It makes us integral. So this is the third mantra. Samano mantra samiti samani samanam manasah chittamesham samanam mantram abhimantraye va samanena vo havishajuhomi. So the fourth mantra we can take in our next session. So this is the third mantra. Now whatever you want to ask, you can ask. If I know, I will reply. Namaste.
Namaste, Swamiji. Monia would like to ask Swamiji to speak about Kumbh Mela and if and what significance it may play for a sadhaka.
Now, the greatest Kumbh Mela has begun, but this year, because of this COVID-19, it won't have that color and the festivities as in other years. But however, that greatness is there, it is intact, and it is believed the presence of Amrita, nectar, will be there in the Kumbh Mela. When sun enters the Kumbham Rashi, once in 12 years, at a certain place, Kumbh Mela is observed, and there are 4 important Kumbh Melas, one in Haridwar, one in Prayaga, one in Ujjain, and one in Nasik. 4 Kumbh Melas are there. And of course, in the midst of 2 Kumbhas, one Ardha Kumbha will be celebrated. So practically at one place, there will be a Kumbha within 6 years. And in rotation, it will go. It is believed the presence of Amrita is there. And we do not know when this Mela started, but we can say this much: from hundreds and hundreds of years, it is there, and it is on this day all the Mahatmas who are living in secluded places otherwise, away from the society, they all will come together to have a dip in the holy river during that Kumbha Parva, and to have the darshan of those Mahatmas, devotees in millions will assemble together. And as there is a union of these Mahatmas and the devotees, there will be different satsangas and many, many activities. In course of time, this became the largest assemblage in the world, Kumbh Mela. So to have the blessing of satsanga, to have a dip in the river when the presence of Amrita is there, we are we are taking part in the Kumbh Mela. In course of time, many types of organizings or organizations came, and to manage and organize this, many routines were selected. For example, sadhus from one akhada will sit together. They will have one camp. And all traditions, from all traditions, there are thousands and thousands of traditions, paramparas. All sadhus will come together. They will stay. They will exchange of ideas. And they will think about our nation and the course of action to be taken to protect our nation. So all these will go along. So this is a Adhyatmic union or reunion. This is a cultural festival. This is an occasion to think about the nation. So all these importance are there. Now, Haridwar Kumbha is going on. But what are the restrictions this year? I am fully unaware of them. I am not at all aware of those. But still Kumbha is there without much festivity. So those who can take part, they can go and take part in that Kumbha. Monia is asking this. She is there. And she can say how things are going on there. She can share with us because she is there in the Rishikesh itself, only some 25 kilometers away from the center of the Kumbha. So she can share her experience, how things are going on there. Instead of asking, she can narrate. Monia ji.
Swamiji, she has internet problems.
Yeah. Oh. Right.
So can we take the next question, Swamiji?
Of course.
Shri Venudas ji, you could ask the question now.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste. Namaste.
Swamiji, you have just taught us Abhimantraye. Would you please kindly lead us to the meaning of Abhi Shabda in such words? Abhimanam, Abhidhanam, Abhimatam, Abhinayam, Abhimanyu.
See, there are many prefixes like this. And when it is joined with a dhatu, the meaning of the dhatu will entirely change. It is just like the wind in the ocean, taking the boats to different ports. So the prefix will take the meaning of the dhatu to different locations. For example, here, abhi is the prefix. So when it is joined with the mantra, abhi mantra, there is no much change there. Because mantraye, when it is mantraye, I am talking to you, or I am giving this to you. When it is abhimantraya, the meaning is the same. But a weightage is given there. Weightage is given. But everywhere it is not so. For example, manam. The word manam comes from the dhatu mang mane, to measure. So manam is what is measured. What is measured. But when abhi is joined with that, the meaning will become ego. Abhimanam. And nayam, it comes from the root ni. Ni naye, nayane. That is to lead. To lead. But when abhi is joined with the ni, it will become acting. Abhinayam is acting. But when it is abhinayanam, it would mean helping or making somebody reach somewhere. Abhinayanam. Abhinayati. Making or helping somebody reach somewhere. So abhinayam is acting. Abhinayanam is leading or making somebody reach. Krama is walking. Kramu pada vikshebe, to walk. So kramanam is walking. But when abhi is joined with that, abhikramanam is transcending something, overcoming something. Abhikramanam. Or when it is abhikrama, the meaning is order. Abhikrama is order. In the Bhagavad Gita itself, it is used. Abhikramanashaha. Abhikramanashaha means the order will be ruined. So there are so many. Abhikrama, abhinaya, abhimana, so many things. So in the same way, see, take the dhatu gam. Gama is to move or to walk. But when it is abhigama, it is reaching or resorting to. When it is avagama, it is knowing. When it is upagama, it is going near. When it is anugama, it is following. That means with the joining of prefixes, the meaning of dhatu will change. And we will see many usages in kavyas and in our shastras. Many types of usages. And there is one more thing we have to keep in mind. The same word will take different meanings at different occasions. That also is there. So abhimantraye here means we are giving this to you, we are talking to you, we are chanting. Such are the meanings. Namaste. Namaste.
Dr. Kamlaji?
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, namaste, namaste.
Yeah. I just wanted a clarification of a sloka in Kathopanishad. Indriyebhyah parahyartha artebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhi buddhiratma mahan para. And here usually we understand through the sense organs we see the sense objects. But here it said the sense objects are beyond. So how do we understand that?
Indriyebhya parahyartha.
Beyond Indriyas.
Arthebhyascha param manaha. So here, usually we are taking these objects as objects of the world. For example, I am seeing a piece of paper, or I am seeing a book on this table. Here there is a book on this table. So I am seeing this. Usually I am considering Indriya as more subtler and the book as something grosser. That is my common understanding. It is true. When I am taking the book in its physical form, it's a gross thing, and my indriyas are subtle than that or subtler than that. That is true. But here, when this is becoming an artha of my senses, that is rupa. When I am seeing, it is rupa, or when I am hearing, it is shabda. That is not the gross thing which is outside. That process of cognition is happening within, and actually I am recognizing the subtle form which is formed within me. I am recognizing it as the book, not the book outside. Actually, book is here outside. It is grosser. There is no doubt in that. But it is not an artha. It is only a book. A book is a book. But when I am recognizing it, this is a book. This is a book. It is becoming an artha. That is a vishaya, an object. Object of what? Object of my eyes. Then I am recognizing that which is formed within. So it is said Vishayas are subtler than Indriyas. And what is more subtler than this Vishaya? It is the mind. Then what is more subtler than that? It is Mahanatma. And more subtler than that is the unmanifest. And even subtler than unmanifest is He, the final, the ultimate, the absolute reality. So from the world of cognition or the objects, I am going deeper and deeper inside and reaching the ultimate reality. So this is the mantra there. But here we have to understand this thing. When I am taking this as a book, this is something gross. There is no doubt in that. But when it is becoming an object of my own eyes, I am recognizing this as a book, the form of book which is formed within. That is the Vishaya. It is subtler than Indriya, the senses. So it is beyond that.
Yeah, the gunas are all subtler than the
Yeah.
Indriyas.
Yeah, of course.
All
Yeah,
the
of
gunas,
course.
yeah.
Of course. Namaste.
Girijaji, would you like to ask your question now? Nirmala ji, would you go first? Yeah.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Swamiji, why do we have to understand the concept of mithya for proper understanding during Vedantic studies? Why is it so important?
See, when we are explaining the teachings of Vedanta, there is no end to that. Because there are many texts and there are many prakriyas, methods we have to adopt. So if we are going on elaborating Vedanta, there is no end. It will go on and on. But when we are trying to take the crux of the Vedantic teaching, it is summarized, or it can be summarized in one word, and it is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahma. So Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahma. This is the crux of Vedanta. This is what Mahavakyas teach us. So to understand this, there are three things which are the very starting point of our inquiries. That is Jiva, Jagat and Brahma. Jiva, Jagat and Brahma. See, Brahma Satyam, there is Brahma. Jagan Mithya, there is Jagat. Jivo Brahma, there is Jiva. These three are the starting points of our inquiry. Let me elaborate a little more. As human beings, we are living in this world. We are within this world. We are as a part of this world. And I am seeing this world with all its diversities around me. And this question comes within, what is this? What is this world around me? I am seeing this, I am living in this. This is around me. And this is full of diversities. What is this? This is the first question. Along with that, two other questions are coming. One, there must be a cause for all effects. And what is the cause of this universe? What is the cause of this world? What is the basic cause? And even though many sorts of diversities are there in this world, I am seeing a perfect order here. A scheme which is binding everything together. An order, a scheme, or a law which is ruling everything. So what is that? Who is that? And the third question is, who am I? I am thinking, I am asking all these questions, I am inquiring. I am inquiring about this universe around me. I am inquiring about the cause of this universe. I am inquiring about the controller of this universe. Then who am I? So these are the three basic points from where human inquiry started. And all these three are mentioned here. One, Jivaha. The other, the Jagat. And the other, Brahman. Who am I? I am Jiva. What is around me? Or what I am seeing around me? The Jagat. Constantly moving. And the basic cause of this, that is Brahman. So these three are there. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, and Jivo Brahma. Now, what is this Brahman? Brahman is Satyam. What is the truth or the reality, the absolute reality? What is existing? That is Brahman. So I am seeing this world around me. So I know this world is. And I am asking this question, so I know I am. So what is that existence? Or what gives this existence to the whole world and to myself? What is that? What is that existence? This question comes when I am observing this universe. I know all these universal phenomena are coming and going, appearing and disappearing. So also as a part of this universe, this body also comes and goes. There was a birth date and there will be a death date. The earth will die, the sun will die, the moon will die, the solar system will die. So all this phenomenal plane which I am seeing or I am cognizing are temporary, not permanent. As the case as that is the case, what is giving these ephemeral things the absolute existence? What is making them exist? What is that existence? This is the question. And the reply is Brahma is the existence absolute. It is Satyam, Brahma Satyam. If it is so, what is that I am seeing around me? Jagat Mithya. Jagat is Mithya. It is not Sat. It is not Asat. If it is Sat, invariably it must be Brahman, and there must be no Jagat other than Brahman. So I will not cognize it, but I am cognizing. So it is not simply Sat. And on the other hand, I cannot term it Asat because Asat is non-existence. I am feeling it. I am seeing it. So it is existing. I cannot negate the existence of the world. When I'm speaking to you, I cannot say you and me are not there. I am here and you are there. So we are talking. So we are existing. But the existence of this body or mind or intellect, all these are not permanent. So this is neither Sat nor Asat. Then what this is? This is Mithya. Jagat Mithya. Means I am experiencing it, but when I am analyzing this with the valid means of knowledge, that is pramana, valid means of knowledge, then I am realizing, or I will realize, there is no existence other than the absolute existence. Existence is one. And all these phenomena I am seeing or I am experiencing are having temporary existence alone. And they are not there different from the Sat. That is the basic existence. Just as when I am seeing an ornament made of gold, let it be a gold chain, let it be a gold bangle, let it be a gold ring. I am seeing, I am using, I am experiencing. I cannot negate the existence of a ring or a bangle or a chain. But when I observe and when I analyze with the proper means or valid means of knowledge, then I will understand what is there is gold, gold alone. Because 40 grams of gold chain weighs 40 grams of gold. So when 40 grams of gold chain is there, what is there as a material? Material is 40 grams of gold. Then what is the weight of the chain? Chain do not have any weight. So there is no substance there other than the existence, which is gold. To that gold, which is the basic substance, I am adding name and form. And as an effect of all this, the world which I am experiencing is here. So Jagat Mithya. Then what about Jiva? Jiva is Brahma itself. Just as a reflection of the sun on a mirror. In the Jivopathis, that is Jagat. As a part of Jagat, Jivopathis are there. And in the Jivopathis, the absolute existence, the absolute knowledge, absolute bliss is reflecting, and this is only a reflection. So Jivo Brahmaiva, na aparaha. No, not anything else. So this is the crux, or this is the summary of Vedanta. And to understand this, and to digest the inner teachings of Mahavakyas, like Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Ayamatma Brahma, we must have a clear idea of the meaning of Mithya. So without having that within, we cannot analyze and understand and digest these Mahavakyas. So understanding meaning of Mithya is important in the study of Vedanta. But what happens without undergoing a systematic or a traditional study, Swadhyaya, after reading some books purchased from bookshops, without realizing the real meaning of Vedantic terms, we will take Mithya as something unreal, asat. And we will ask the questions. If world is Mithya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya also is Mithya. So there is no teacher, there is no student, there is no study, there is no world. So you must not drink, you must not eat. That is, even without studying, without understanding even the word meaning of Mithya, they are commenting on Vedanta. So it is essential to know the terms and their meanings first. So when we undertake traditional studies, it is customary or it is traditional before taking the student to the study of bhashyas or prakaranas. First, Vyakarana will be taught. See, one with a real thirst to know and one with a real ambition to study Vedanta is approaching a guru, and he will not teach Vedanta first. He will take Vyakarana. Then only the student will have the correct knowledge to coin words. How such and such meanings are coming to such and such words. Then the student must have a logical approach within. For that, in olden days, according to our tradition, this tarka will be taught. And along with tarka, Sankhya also. Then only in olden days, student will be taken to the study of prakaranas. And after some prakaranas, Acharya will start bhashyas. This was the traditional way of, but we cannot offer capsule courses in this method. This was the tradition. But even if we are not undertaking the study of Tarka and Sankhya, Vyakarana is essential, and the knowledge of terms used in Vedanta, we must familiarize ourselves with. Then only the real purport of Vedanta will be able to imbibe. So it is important to know the word meanings. Namaste. I think now we can conclude, and in our next sitting we can continue. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryangara Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.